Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. I am Bhagyashree and this is a course on cell structure and function. So we are going to learn about the cell structure and function and the basic details. In our previous lesson we learned about the plasma membrane and a bit about lipid bilayer. So today we are going to continue with the topic. Those who haven't referred the video, please watch that previous video so that you will have a better conceptual understanding. And if you like the video, don't forget to click on like button and also subscribe for more video updates. Now a glimpse of whatever we learned in our previous lesson, that what exactly is lipid bilayer. Now the basic structure of plasma membrane is lipid bilayer and it is composed of two leaflets of amphipathic lipid molecules where the polar head groups are in contact with intra or extracellular aqueous phase. Now the polar, it looks like head, so it is just a small circle. So they are in contact with intra or extracellular aqueous phase. Whereas the non-polar tails, for what happens, the non-polar tails, they face each other constituting the hydrophobic interior of the membrane. Now what the term hydrophobic here means that they are water hating, they don't like water. So hydrophobic interior of membrane, and hydrophilic is the term which is used for water loving, and hydrophobic water hating interior of the membrane. So the primary physical forces for organizing the lipid bilayer, they are hydrophobic interaction, and there are three classes of lipid molecules which are present in lipid bilayer. These are phospholipids, glycolipids, and sterols. So today we are going to learn in detail about these three classes: phospholipid, glycolipids, and sterol. Now coming to first class, which is phospholipids. These phospholipids, they are made up of four components: an alcohol, fatty acid, phosphate, and alcohol, which is attached to the phosphate. So remember, there are four components for phospholipid. One is alcohol, one is phospholipid, one is alcohol which is attached to phospholipid, and the fatty acids. Now the fatty acid components, these are hydrophobic. Sorry for the disturbance. Now the fatty acid components, basically they are hydrophobic, whereas the remainder of the molecule has hydrophilic. So they love water, whereas the fatty acids, they hate water. There are two types of phospholipids. One is the glycerophospholipids and the other one is the sphingolipids. Now, the phospholipids which are derived from glycerol, it is glycerophospholipids. Very simple, which are derived from glycerol, they are glycerophospholipids. And the glycerophospholipids that contain glycerol, fatty acids, phosphate, and alcohol. So, phospholipids, what they contain? They contain glycerol, fatty acid, phosphate, and alcohol. I hope till now it is clear with the phospholipids. Now, the phosphoglyceride molecules, they are classified according to the type of alcohol which is linked to the phosphate group. So, for example, if an alcohol is choline, then the molecule is called as phosphatidylcholine. Now, the alcohol, the naming will be done on the basis of the alcohol which is attached to the phosphate group. And if it is serine, then it will be phosphatidylserine. Now the phosphoglycerides, they are most numerous phospholipid molecules which are found in the plasma membrane. And the sphingolipids, it contains amino alcohol called as sphingosine. Instead of a glycerol, a fatty acid, phosphate, and alcohol is attached to the phosphate. Now in sphingophospholipid, amino group of the sphingosine backbone is linked to the fatty acid by an amide bond. Now the sphingomyelin, it is the most abundant sphingophospholipid. So sphingomyelin, it is the most abundant phospholipid. Okay, and the plasma membrane of animal cells contain four major phospholipids like the phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylethanolamine, and sphingomyelin. So the neutral pH polar head groups, it may not have net charge or it may have net negative charges. Now the rarer phospholipids have a net positive charge. Now they contain carbohydrate that are covalently attached to the lipid. Now these can be derived from either glycerol or sphingosine. Now the simplest glycolipid, it is called as cerebroside, which contain a single sugar residue, either glucose or galactose. And the gangliosides are more complex glycolipids which contain a branch chain as many as 7 sugar residues. So there are 7 sugar residues in it. And the glycolipids are found exclusively in the outer leaflet of plasma membrane with their carbohydrate proteins exposed on the cell surface. So where the glycolipids are found in the outer leaflet of the plasma membrane with their carbohydrate portion exposed on the cell surface. Now coming to the sterols. Sterols, they are the basic structure of sterol is a steroid nucleus which consists of 4 fused rings and 3 with carbon. Now it is basically a planar and rigid structure, and the cholesterol, it is the major sterol which is present in the plasma membrane of animal cells. So cholesterol is the major sterol which is present in the plasma membrane of animal cells. Now the plasma membrane of plant cell, they lack cholesterol but they contain other sterols like sigmasterol, cystosterol. With rare exceptions like mycoplasma, bacterial plasma membrane also lack cholesterol. So this is about sterols. So we learned today about the phospholipids, then the glycolipids and the sterols. So we'll continue with the lessons. Stay tuned for more lessons to come. Thank you for watching.